Welcome to the BEASTwriter podcast. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be discussing San Francisco 49ers GM John Lynch. If you don't follow me on Twitter, I am doing something for the very first time. I am breaking down my podcast episode based on a 4-part series since GM John Lynch has been in office since 2017, and every part will be based on that year. So part 1, we're starting off with 2017. And we'll go on from there. All right, so let's get started. I break it down into a bunch of parameters on grading a GM. For those who don't know or that do know or follow my podcast on Twitter, I don't know where you guys follow me, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is. I like to break down things and cover all angles. So I cover all 32 NFL teams. I also have a list of all 32 GMs. Well, technically not 32 anymore because of the Texans and the Falcons, but I have a list of my top GMs. And where does GM John Lynch rank? Well, I'm going to break it down. All right, so let's start with 2017. All right, he comes in the office, and the first moves he makes, we're going to break it down into parameters, like I said. So the first one will be unrestricted free agents and trades, basically acquisitions. And then we're going to break it down into the NFL draft, hits or misses. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about the undrafted rookie free agents. All right, so let's get started. Let's start with the unrestricted free agents and the trades that were made in that 2017 season. All right, starting with the hits. He did a nice job, in my opinion. He got Kyle Juszczyk, Robbie Gould, K'Waun Williams, Elvis Dumervil for a leadership standpoint, and then they made a late trade, and I believe it was October. Yeah, because I came back from Hawaii, and I was on the flight that very next day because I got the press release, and I was like, oh, damn, I better be going back to the mainland to cover the 49ers' Jimmy Garoppolo. And that's basically putting that all together. What do you get? Well, Kyle Juszczyk is a perennial all-pro player. Robbie Gould had some all-pro seasons. Elvis Dumervil was a sack artist, and he was instrumental in building up these younger players. K'Waun Williams continues to be a good veteran pickup and a slot cornerback the team can sign or choose not to resign at the end of the year. He's a free agent, but he's been playing well up to this point in his during his tenure in San Francisco. And then you have Jimmy Garoppolo, who may be on the outside looking in, but did help them get to the Super Bowl. Didn't lead them there, but he did get them there. All right, so when you put all those 5 players on an NFL roster, you have a pretty damn good offseason if you're asking me. So now let's look at the misses. Malcolm Smith. How can you dish out $26 million for Malcolm Smith? I don't know. It's a head scratcher for me. That was a huge whiff. So 5 minus 1, and based on the financials, I would say Lynch won this in a landslide. Boom. Straight clean. I give him an A grade. Good job, John Lynch. All right, now let's break it down to the NFL draft. This is where it gets kind of dicey, guys. 2017 NFL draft, they landed George Kittle in the 5th round, the best all-pro tight end, best number 1 tight end in the NFL, hands down today. Anytime you get that, that's a win in my book. Then you get defensive tackle DJ Jones, who is a starting defensive tackle in any scheme, 3-4 front or 4-3 base. So anytime you get 2 starters, one being the best at the position, you have to, doesn't matter what kind of players you add thereafter, that's a win. That's a win. And the losses, let's start with that. All right, so they had the number 2 overall pick, and then they traded back and got Solomon Thomas, who probably won't be back with the team next year. My pre-draft analysis, check the Twitter receipt. I love putting down my predictions and analysis because when they hold up, which is more times than not, I like to gain credibility that way, and that's how I think I do gain credibility. Actually, I know it is, and that's why you guys follow me. So my pre-draft analyst, before the draft took place, I did, if 49ers stay at number 2, I see them drafting safety Jamal Adams. Box safety or not, he has intangibles that Lynch covets: leadership, instincts, and passion. And where does Jamal Adams stand now? Well, he's on the Seattle Seahawks, and when he was playing early in the season, he was an all-pro candidate. Not only an all-pro candidate, but Defensive Player of the Year candidate. So we all know what we're getting with Jamal Adams, who's been a perennial all-pro since entering the league. He is a box safety who embodies all the qualities I just pointed out in my pre-draft analysis. All right? So a whiff for John Lynch. All right, now what do they do? Well, they had the 34th pick, then they move up to the 31st pick and get an enigmatic but a dynamite linebacker, Reuben Foster. And again, this was a whiff. He came with a lot of red flags, off-field issues, shoulder injuries, and I asked Reuben Foster right after he was drafted, because I worked in the media workroom with Matt Mayoko, Matt Barros, all them, Cam Inman, we all worked together, Grant Cohn, we all worked together in the same room. And one of the questions I asked, I didn't mean to come out as a pun, but I asked him, I was like, you were considered a top 5, top 10 pick, and then you got thrown out of the combine for, saying, do you know who I am? Anyways, I said, do you play with a chip on your shoulder knowing that you were drafted where you were drafted? And he said, yes, I play on the chip on the shoulder. And I didn't put two and two together till people after me were like, kind of laughing, like, dude, that was a good one, man. Like, ha ha ha. And I was like, what are you talking about? The question, because it was shoulder injuries. Like, oh man, I did not mean to go that way. Anyways, that was a whiff. And I was wrong because, like I said, I'll admit when I'm right, but I'll admit when I'm wrong. And I was wrong on this one. And it was a whiff. I thought he was a defensive player of the year, defensive rookie of the year candidate, and arguably the steal of the draft. And he was until those red flags started to pop up again. Oh, if only Reuben Foster could stay out of trouble. Great guy, great person, love him. Me and him had a great working relationship. We joked around a lot in the locker room, but yeah, that was a whiff. All right. So, with that being said, my pre-draft analysis was targeting Alvin Kamara at number 34, actually, dated on Twitter on March 27th. I said the 49ers would be wise to look at another Tennessee Volunteer in running back Alvin Kamara. He's a sleeper. Well, what did the 49ers do? They drafted Kinlaw Witherspoon in the 3rd round, number 66 overall. Alvin Kamara, in my book, was an early 2nd round grade. He went late in the 3rd round, and who selects Alvin Kamara? Yes, it was the freaking Saints. Who, by the way, Alvin Kamara is having one heck of a year and on pace for being Offensive Player of the Year. And he went one pick later. So basically what I'm trying to say is they could have had Alvin Kamara, but they decided to take Kinlaw Witherspoon one pick earlier. Why don't you just listen to me, John Lynch? Just listen to me. You'll be a better man and a smarter man for it. All right. I'm joking, John Lynch. John Lynch, great guy. But anyways, you can't miss at the top of the NFL draft, especially all pro talent. When you do that, you diminish the value of pick when you reach for need. And you set your franchise back 2 to 3 years because who knows when you're going to be in that draft position again. You don't know. You don't know how everything's going to play out, and you also don't know which prospects are going to play out at a position of need. So all these players are going to be graded out higher, and due to what you need, you might have to reach the next year. I'm never a firm believer in reaching for need. I think you diminish the value of the pick. That's why you see the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm talking fast, but because I'm just really upset. That's why the Pittsburgh Steelers, that's why the freaking Baltimore Ravens, and that's why all these other teams are always drafting BPA regardless of need. Calais Campbell goes down this year, and Justin Matabuki steps in, right? Things like that, all right? Marlon Mack goes down for the Indianapolis Colts. No one talks about him, top 5 running back in the NFL. Who steps in? Jonathan Taylor. So NFL injuries happen all around the NFL. It's not just the 49ers. Yes, the 49ers injuries are more than most, but it's the NFL. Injuries happen. You don't blame the strength coach. You don't blame anything else other than it's COVID season because there's no proper offseason. And I knew that. I mean, this is what I do. Aside from covering the NFL, I'm in the National Academy of Sports Medicine trained, so I know exactly how all this plays out. Personal trainer, all of that. So when you do any type of grueling activities, especially on a professional level, you got to make sure that you're in shape in order to do these and perform these movements. You see a lot of these players running cone drills on the side field, but yet they're not gaining rapport with the quarterback. So when they do hit camp or when they do try to hit the chemistry together on their timing routes, it's off. And if you don't have a proper offseason program to go through those progressions, it's all for naught. Injuries are going to happen. Because you're going to plant earlier than you should, the ball's going to come out earlier than you should, and you have to make the adjustment. Boom! All right, let's keep going. Whew, I'm hot. All right, so with the NFL draft in 2017, John Lynch gets a B grade because, like I said, he gets an all-pro best tight end in the NFL, George Kittle, while rolling in DJ Jones, who I believe was a 6th round pick. All right, cool. Now let's talk about the undrafted free agents, the diamonds in the rough, as I like to call them. All right, John Lynch. Mastermind at finding diamonds in the rough, man. He found quarterback Nick Mullins, who I really like. They found Matt Breida, who they traded later, I don't know why, to the Miami Dolphins. And then they still have wide receiver Kendrick Bourne, who I'm not sure will be back next year. But anyways, those 3 players produced at a very high level and played a lot of snaps, aside from Nick Mullins up to this point. When he does proven that he can play, his stats don't lie. He's actually a pretty damn good backup. So kudos to John Lynch for finding diamonds in the rough. I think I'll give him a grade of an A, because how many undrafted rookie free agents make an NFL roster? And aside from that, how many undrafted rookie free agents actually make an impact? Right, not very many. He got 3 of them. Okay, so he gets a grade for that. When you look at it, put it all together, as far as our free agents are concerned and trades, he gets an A. The 2017 NFL draft class, he gets a B. The diamonds in the rough, undrafted rookie free agents, he gets a A. Final grade, 3.6, B plus. Boom. All right. Will that be it today? I don't know. I might do part 2 series. But if you like what I had to say, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe button and leave your comments in the lower right hand corner of your screen as I keep you up to date on all things Beast. That pre-workout is hitting. I'm actually taking my pre-workout right now. That's why. And I'm ready to hit the gym because I'm late for a very important date. I'm just joking. I have no date, but with the gym I do. All right. Thank you for tuning in. Have a good night. BEASTwriter.